heart failure composite score that I gave you here. You see where and if you look at your sheet in June 2006, how it was maybe the average was 75%, a little over, maybe in between 75, about 77% maybe. And now look where it is. It was in June 2007, about 84% or almost 85%. So it shows where the number of people here with heart failure has increased dramatically, right? Drastically.
Excuse me. This is worldwide or in the States?
This is in New York.
Okay.
This is actually in New York, and it just shows, give you a brief synopsis of what happens here in New York. And I give you the handout, you can read it, which is, I'm going to be very brief. And I can just add to this from what Laurie said in her class, in her presentation just now, that eating right and exercising and doing the right things, we could all make our health better, right? And try to do that, because it's very sad, because I would stray from the point and reflect on, I work in the cardiac ICU, and I've seen it all. And I see the patients come in, I talk to them like I'm talking to Ralph, and next minute they're gone. It's very sad and very depressing. People who are millionaires and who come in, they think that, okay, they're sick with one problem and it's the end. They don't want to live anymore because they think it's no hope, right? So it's very important that we look at ourselves and take that drastic measure to eat right. Me personally, we're human and we all make mistakes in terms of, if I want some ice cream, I might eat it. I'm vegetarian for like 20 years, let me tell you this. I stay away from meat for 20 years, but I do eat fish and I eat eggs and I eat all this thing. But guess what? I'm addicted to bread. I'm addicted to bread. I mean, you might be addicted to ice cream or sugar or whatever. We all have our weaknesses, but it doesn't mean that we have to, if I like bread, I'll eat bread every day. We will fall in, but we have to really do the right thing in terms of thinking about our heart and what affects the heart and what to do to keep the heart healthy, right? Exercise, eating right, fruits and vegetables. I try to do that, but sometimes I slip, but I go right back, like every other human, right? So I just want to make sure that we are on the right track in terms of health. It's very important. And one, you can stick with the kidneys or the liver, or it all comes back to the heart. It all comes back. One organ triggers everything else, because the medications you take trigger everything else. So it's very, very important that we pay attention to our health. And this is going to be very beneficial to every organ in our body. The way we look and the way we feel, self-esteem, everything is going to be elevated. All right, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. And thank you, Professor, for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions, comments for Cheryl?
No, what I just found interesting was that there's like this show on TV called Ask the Doctors or something like that. And what they were talking about was that the normal blood pressure is 120/80, but it also, anything like higher than that, anything as in like, if a person is in my age is 120/80, I am at high risk of high blood pressure, because I'm 20 years old, but it's like, if I have a blood pressure of 120/80, they'll automatically say you're at a risk right now of high blood pressure, because of the way how things are, like within the environment, within food, within salt, like as I saw in the little pamphlet, that eating a lot of salt kind of triggers the heart a lot. So it's like 120/80 it's a great number, but depending on the age, you can be at risk for high blood pressure. And I take my blood pressure at the doctor's, and I'm 100/70, and to them that's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, so that's anything between 100 and 120, and then 70 and 80s as a diastolic number, it's pretty good. Anything higher than that, of course, you have a pressure. That's when the coronary heart failure comes in, and things get affected.
Yeah, that's how it was. It was always 120/80.
Yeah.
But now they have it like 110/.
Yeah, now they've actually lowered now, because 120/80.
And now they have it where the top number is more important than the bottom number, whereby long ago, it was the bottom number that was of interest, right? But then when you eat a lot of salt, what it does, it helps you retain the water. Right. And that liquids shoots your blood pressure up. So when your body hold on to that water, obviously blood pressure is going to skyrocket. So eating less salt is very important, and it's the key to successful health.
That will be, I'm sorry, another interesting data, like you can break this down into the age, which is age. How many people have heart failure compared to the age?
Yeah. And the valves, you can repair some things. You could repair the heart valve. You could get the stenosis, whereby when the artery clogs, they have a way, technology to open it up and put a stent in it so it wouldn't clog anymore. Right? So there's a lot of things you can do, but people sometimes still doesn't feel comfortable with a device, a little piece of device in them. You could get these little devices, but people don't feel like themselves when they have all these pieces of device in them. So the best thing is to try to avoid that and eat healthy. And we're not saying, no one knows, sometimes they have a birth defect until maybe 50 or 40, but that's the birth defect. But in the other sense, we're actually doing it to ourselves.
So it means if you